Good afternoon, everyone. Coach Amy 2.0 here, reaching out, saying happy Friday, saying hi, saying hey, just coming forward and bringing my flowers to the world and seeing about how I can share some information, some coaching tips that hopefully will be helpful to you during this time of staying at home, during this almighty crisis that most of us have never seen any such a thing in all the years that we've lived. And it's my heart and my passion and my desire just to bring forward some information for you today that you may be able to tuck in your back pocket and use, or maybe put it into practice right away. But what I want to do right now is just say to you, one, I hope you're well. Two, I hope you're okay. I hope that you are weathering through this to the best of your ability, and that all of the supplies and all of your needs are being met at this time. So today what I want to do is talk to you about anxiety, and I want to give you some framework around how anxiety can affect your body and your mind and your well-being, but more so give you some solutions and ideas how to maybe combat that and just learn to go with the flow of the circumstances better and just, let it ride. So without further ado, I'll say one thing, that change is hard. Change is hard, but change is good. And this situation has definitely put us all in a position of, being turned up on our heads. We're not in our usual or our regular routines and so forth. And so that can be very upsetting to the way we are. Human beings, we like structure. We work very well under the conditions of structure. And so that's one thing I will say. I hope you're staying somewhat structured within the confines of your new normal, because it's going to be helpful for you. It's going to give you more mental clarity, and it's just going to help you get through your days a little bit easier. But when you talk about anxiety and you talk about its negative effects, one of the things that anxiety can do, and I'll say this before I move forward, I watch the news enough. Too much is too much. So watch the news, be informed, use that information to be in the know, use that information to help you remember the severity of the situation and how doing your part by staying home and doing your part by following the suggestions and the guidelines out there really is for the greater good of all. And with all that, being informed and taking too much in other words, I always say watch your downloads. When that's all you're downloading all day and night, morning, noon, and night, because it's on every single channel, including YouTube, and it's on everywhere you can possibly find, it can become an overwhelm. Now, anxiety is going to divide your mind, isn't it? Because we want to be we want to be healthy. We want to be in the, know that we're good. We want to believe that everything's going to be okay. But if we keep feeding ourselves all of that, that's going to put us in a state of feeling anxious. I know the other morning I woke up and I'm a human. I'm a coach, but I'm also a human. So I'm experiencing all of this right along with you guys. There goes a chair. It's very windy today. Sorry about that. But to keep to the point, anxiety, the negative effects, it divides your mind. It slows down your productivity. It affects your personal relationships. When you're all tight and jumpy, we may have the more propensity to lash out at our loved ones. It steals your joy and peace. It just takes you out of alignment with yourself, your higher self. It also wastes your time and your energy, as well as it can actually even have devastating effects on your health. So I've been listening to different people out there talk about it, and how even, you question yourself, like if you feel labored in your breathing, or, is this it? Is this? So, the most important thing is to understand something about anxiety and your thoughts. We have to understand that it's only a thought, and a thought can be changed. But when you think on something, or ruminate on something, or obsess on something, positive or negative, really, your body will rise or fall or wreak havoc to the occasion of your thoughts. So even if something isn't even happening at all, your body can actually feel the feelings of that it's happening. That's a lot of what anxiety is, if you did not know that. Anxiety comes from a place of where our mind gets carried away. Mostly, when you're talking about anxiety, we parallel that to negative thinking, fearful thinking, worrisome thinking. If you're constantly in that state of disarray up top, your body is going to start to feel the side effects of that. So I'm not here to say that the struggle isn't real and people don't have real issue and real challenges and medical challenges with anxiety. I know I've seen that in others that I've known. I understand the crap is real. I am saying, though, at the same time, a lot of the so-called feelings that we feel, and the tightness and the anxiety and the racing blood pressure and such, has a lot to do with our thoughts. So it's going to be a good idea to, how can we counter that then? Well, just like we can change the channel on the television to a peaceful meditation station, if you notice that there, instead of too much news, you can also change the channel on your thoughts. It takes a discipline, it takes new and learned behavior, but I can tell you something, it's possible. Now, meditation, listening to music that brings you pleasure or makes you feel happy or good feelings, anything that brings you joy, looking at a flower, sitting outside, safely, of course, these days, whatever that is, maybe if it's the right time of the day, a little inch of wine, to soothe you down, looking at pictures of nature, whatever makes you happy. I know what makes me happy. I'm a nature girl, so I love being outside. I like looking at nature and animals and landscapes, and I just feel in my bliss, and it helps me not worry so much about other things that may be practical things that I have to look at, that I have to address, but it helps me balance out the concerns of real life against, just knowing that a lot of what we're going through right now as a collective is not in our control. So all you can do within your little world, within this great big world of what's going on, is what you can do. And so meditation and thinking on good thoughts, changing the channel on those negative or fearful thoughts is one tip that can help you counter anxiety. Also, when we talk about it slowing down our level of productivity, where most of us are working from home right now, most of us have a thing to do. If you are on pause with your work situation, just hang in there. I know it might be tough right now, but things are going to get better. I'm believing that for you. But, at this time, why not choose an achievement-oriented activity that can help move your life forward? Maybe something that you haven't had the time to do because your regular 9 to 5 and all the other responsibilities that you have just take too big of a bite out of your time on the regular. There's a way right now of looking at this as an opportunity to grow as a person. So that's one thing. When we talk about how anxiety steals our joy and peace, and it will, we can choose to do something pleasant or fun instead. Watch a comedy, play a game with the family that brings out a lot of laughter and goofiness. Do things I always say a few things I say. One, this here is my way of giving my flowers to the world. Not sure what you're doing about that, but every day we should be getting up and giving our flowers to the world in some type of way. It can be monetarily, it can be through sharing time, gifts, talents, whatever that is, however you do that, whatever you're doing to be a sense of the community in this world is something that we're all here for a reason. And you don't need permission from anyone to do that. I have all my certifications and I have years of experience that you'll never really hear me brag about. But one of the things for me in my life was waiting for the permission then to have somebody say, you're, going to do this, or you're going to be great at this. No, I've given myself permission because I know who I am. And that's something I want to challenge you to do. Instead of the what am I going to do and the worry and the fear, how about doing something that you know you can do and putting it to practice? The other thing that I often say is that when you feed something, it grows, and when you starve it, it dies. And so that may sound morbid in a sense, but just if you just think of a flower or a plant or anything that you're devoting your time and your energy towards, if you're constantly focusing in on that, it's going to manifest, it's going to grow, it's going to blossom. Now that can be for the good and that can be for the not so good. So if you're trying to kind of squash the sense of overwhelm with anxiety, stop feeding it. Stop feeding fearful thoughts with more worry and more horrifying outcomes that you're manifesting in your mind. How about feeding into, spinning your dreams, or looking for hidden treasures within the situation, or just telling yourself every day, I'm doing the best I can, and with that, I'm going to put my energy into something fun, something loving, something possible, something helpful for myself and for others. And then when I talk about how anxiety can have the effect on your health, you better believe that. Most of every so-called disease, dis-ease, right? Put the word together, comes from a place of not being in alignment with ourselves. And so to counter that in a positive way, I, used to be a personal trainer for my first career. So I can say from a professional point of view, although I'm not practicing that alone these days, would be moving your body, connecting to yourself, getting your heart rate lifted up a little bit every day, eating really great foods, getting the proper rest, and just moving your body. If doing something very high intensity or cardio related is not your speed, I'm pretty sure we can all roll out, lay out on the carpet right now and do a yoga tape or something that's going to help you be productive and mindful and sort of connect into your body. Because when you're feeling anxious, whether you realize it or not, your shoulders are in your ears, you're just tight. You're tight. And my challenge and my wish for you for the weekend is just to release. I know these are challenging times. I know some of us are able to still work, some of us not. I know all the things you can say, but Coach Amy, I get it. I've been there. At this time, I happen to be very secure with all that's going on, thankfully. But it wasn't always that way. There have been times in my life where a different kind of devastation hit my life and I was left with nothing but like the ground and me to go to work up from. So allow this opportunity to, as unfortunate as it is in so many ways, and I am not making light of that, please don't twist my words. I'm just saying that anxiety has a negative effect, and what you can do with everything that you're dealing with right now is, try to use it as an opportunity to show yourself how strong you are. Use it as an opportunity to pick up something new. Use it as an opportunity to retrain your thinking so that it becomes a new behavior. Now, yesterday I learned that in order for this to go on Instagram television, it has to chop at 15 minutes. And I think that's more than enough time to hold you guys. So I want to thank you for visiting with me. I would be remiss not to ask you to like, share, subscribe. If you have questions, if you need mentoring in any way, I'm offering that as a free service right now. Feel free to reach out, amy@coachamy20.com. You can text me at 845-271-7525 directly. You can always DM me on Instagram at Coach Amy 2.0, and I'm here for you. We are just wishing the best for you. My three little chickadees and I, they're not home today. That's why the house is so quiet. But I just want you to know that keeping it real, keeping it light, keeping it in lines with what's going on for us as a collective. Just know that you have someone here loving you, rooting for you, and just wishing you all the best. I hope you have a great weekend, and I'll chat with you soon. Thank you.